Welcome back, everybody. Today we're doing a deep dive on something pretty huge, artificial intelligence and what it means for the creative world.
Yeah, it really is everywhere these days, isn't it?
Seriously, from
Yeah.
how we watch movies to how they're even made,
Huh.
AI's got its algorithms all over it.
Exactly. And I think we've got some really good material to dig into today, too.
Oh yeah, for sure. We got some articles, some business analysis stuff.
Yeah, and a really in-depth report from the International Confederation of Societies of Authors and Composers.
CISAC, right.
Yeah, CISAC, they work with millions of creators all over the world. So their point of view is, pretty important.
Totally. And our goal for today is to understand, like, both sides of the AI coin.
Yeah.
The good stuff it can do, but also the potential problems it brings up for anyone who's working in a creative field.
Because, whether you're a filmmaker or musician yourself, or even just someone who enjoys movies, music, TV shows.
All of this is going to change what kind of entertainment is even out there.
Yeah, exactly.
So, okay, why don't we start with something we all use? Streaming services. I mean, they're already using AI in some really cool ways, like those recommendations you get.
Oh, yeah, like because you watched.
Exactly. That's AI working in the background, looking at what you've been watching and figuring out, what you might like.
It's more than that even. It's like the whole experience is tailored to you. The images you see, the trailers, even like how things are categorized on your homepage. It's all driven by what the AI thinks will keep you watching.
So it's like a fully personalized experience then.
Yeah. And it can even do that before a movie or show is even out. Like AI is being used to predict how popular something's going to be.
Wow. And that affects what, like,
Yeah.
whether a movie gets made in the first place.
It can. And how much money they put into it, how they market it, the whole thing, really.
That's a lot of power, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I guess the question is, though, is all this personalization a good thing? I mean, does it lead to people finding new stuff, different kinds of content?
Or does it just keep everyone in their own little bubble watching the same kind of things over and over?
Yeah, does it right? That's a pretty important question.
It is. And the debate around that is, well, it's getting more and more, I guess, heated as the technology gets, more advanced.
And it's not just about the viewers either. We have to think about the people actually making this stuff.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I was reading an article in Le Monde, and they're predicting that by 2028, the market for AI-generated content, like music, movies, all that, is going to be worth 64 billion euros.
Yeah, that's a massive number. It shows just how much AI is changing things.
But then there's that CISAC report we mentioned before. They're saying that all this growth could mean creators actually lose a big chunk of their income.
Yeah, it's a real worry. They're saying musicians could lose up to 24% of their income, and people working on films and TV shows could lose 21%. And it's all because of, well, AI taking over certain jobs.
Wow, those are huge percentages. What kinds of jobs are we talking about here?
Well, they specifically mentioned things like dubbing and subtitling, composing music, visual effects, even sound engineering is being affected.
And it's not just like the entry-level positions, right?
Not at all. I mean, even screenwriters and directors are feeling the pressure.
But it's more than jobs disappearing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like AI could change how we even think about creativity in the first place.
Yeah, definitely. One of the articles we looked at called AI a Superpower for Filmmakers, which I thought was really interesting.
Superpower. Huh. So, like, what would that even look like? What's the good side of AI in filmmaking?
Well, think about it. AI could help filmmakers do things that are, technically really hard right now. Like imagine creating super realistic special effects or even like generating whole scenes just from a basic idea.
So it's like it could free up filmmakers to be more creative in a way.
Yeah, exactly. They could push the boundaries of storytelling, come up with completely new ideas, things we haven't even thought of yet.
It's like having a super creative partner or something.
Yeah, kind of. But, and this is a big but, there's also that risk of losing what makes films unique.
Oh, right, because if everyone's using the same AI tools.
Exactly. You could end up with movies that all look the same, feel the same, less risk-taking, less originality.
Like a creative monoculture, almost.
Yeah, kind of. And then there's the money side of things, too. We talked about how AI can predict if a movie will be successful, right?
Right.
Well, what if studios start using those predictions to decide what movies to make? They might just play it safe and stick to formulas they know will make money.
So we end up with a bunch of cookie-cutter blockbusters.
Potentially, yeah. And less of those, weird, interesting, unique films that really push the boundaries.
And then we're back to that CISAC report and what they were saying about to transfer of economic value.
Right, exactly. Because as more and more of the content we watch is actually made by AI.
The question becomes, who's profiting from that?
Exactly. If it's just the tech companies who own the AI, what happens to the actual artists, the human creators?
So this affects everyone then. Even if you're not a filmmaker or a musician, it's going to change what kind of movies, music, TV shows, what's even available to watch and listen to.
Yeah, it's a big deal. We're kind of at a crossroads here, and the decisions we make now will determine what that future looks like.
Okay, but it can't all be doom and gloom, right?
Yeah.
I mean, is there a way AI could be used to actually help creators instead of replacing them?
Oh, absolutely. We have to remember AI is a tool, and like any tool, it can be used in different ways. The key is to use it thoughtfully, to make sure it's serving the interests of both the creators and the audience.
So instead of seeing it as this big threat,
We should be thinking about how it can open up new creative possibilities.
like a collaboration almost, humans and machines working together.
Exactly. I mean, imagine AI tools that help musicians write incredibly complex music or software that lets filmmakers visualize their stories in totally new ways.
We're already seeing stuff like that, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. There are artists using AI to generate new sounds, create different visual styles, even come up with completely new art forms.
So it's not necessarily humans versus machines, but humans and machines working together.
Exactly. And that requires, I think, a shift in how we think about creativity, both for the creators themselves and the people who support them. We have to be open to new possibilities, willing to experiment,
Mhm.
and really make sure AI is being used to benefit the whole creative ecosystem.
So AI's impact on the creative world is only just getting started, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we've seen how it's changing how we watch movies and TV, how it could help filmmakers,
Yeah.
but also how it could stifle creativity.
And as AI keeps getting more advanced, there are some huge questions we're all going to have to face. Like, who actually controls the creative process? How do we make sure human creators are treated fairly? And how do we use AI to encourage creativity and innovation while still protecting the diversity and originality of human art?
Yeah, it does feel like things are changing really fast.
Yeah.
But maybe it doesn't have to be all bad. Maybe AI doesn't have to kill creativity.
Right. It's like, remember when the printing press was invented? Like, it totally changed how people got information.
But it didn't get rid of writers, right?
Exactly. And then there's photography. It transformed how we see the world, but it didn't replace painting. I think AI is kind of like that. It's a tool, and it depends on us how we use it.
So maybe what we need is a new kind of like creative literacy
Mm-hmm.
where both artists and audiences understand how AI works, what it's good at, what it's not good at.
And how to make sure that human creativity is still at the heart of it all.
Right, because the technology isn't going away.
No. And this is where, everyone needs to be involved. Industry leaders, policymakers, organizations like CISAC, they all need to work together.
To come up with ethical guidelines, protect creators' rights.
Exactly. And make sure the benefits of AI are shared fairly.
So to bring this back to everyone listening, even if you're not a filmmaker or a musician, this is going to affect you.
Oh, definitely. The movies you watch, the music you listen to, it's all going to be shaped by these changes.
We're at a real turning point here.
Yeah.
And like you said before, the decisions we make now are going to have a huge impact on the future of creativity.
Yeah. Do we use AI to help artists and expand what's possible? Or do we let it become this thing that just churns out the same stuff over and over, where algorithms are basically telling us what we should like?
That's a pretty stark choice, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I think we covered a lot today. We talked about those personalized recommendations on streaming services, the ways AI could help filmmakers, but also the potential downsides, the risks to creativity and to creators' livelihoods.
And that idea from the CISAC report about the need for fair compensation as AI-generated content becomes more and more common.
Right. It's a lot to think about, especially when you consider that AI can now create things that are basically impossible to tell apart from human-made work. So that leads to even bigger questions, I think. What does that mean for art, for human expression?
Will AI become a tool that empowers creators, or will it end up putting artists out of work?
Those are some really big questions, and I don't think there are any easy answers. But they're definitely things we all need to be thinking about.
Absolutely. The future of creativity, well, it's really in our hands. It's up to all of us to figure out how to use this technology in a way that benefits everyone.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into AI and the future of creative industries. It's been a fascinating conversation.
Yeah, really interesting.
So until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep creating.